Hi everyone, Elite Assassin here, and today I want to give you guys my impressions on the Lawbreakers beta for PS4. For those of you who don't know what Lawbreakers is a first-person shooter that's coming out for the PC and PS4, made by Boss Key Studios. Now, if that company doesn't sound too familiar to you, that's because it's a new company, a small company, that's headed by Cliffy B. Those of you who play Gears of War or Unreal or just are familiar with Epic Games in general, you probably know who Cliffy B is. He came out of retirement, and this is the studio that he created. And for those of you who are wondering why this game isn't coming out for Xbox, there actually is a pretty decent reason, and I'll get to that later in the video toward the end, because I can wait. Now, one thing I also want to get out of the way very quickly. I've seen a lot of people react to this game in YouTube comments, on Reddit, and even my own little brother who was sitting next to me as I was going through the gameplay for this. And he went, wow, that looks a lot like Overwatch. And I've seen a lot of people say that. Now let me first point out, this is not like Overwatch. I cannot stress that enough. If you see this game, see the gameplay, and think, oh, just an Overwatch clone, you are very, very, very mistaken. While there may be some similarities, like the fact that it's a first-person shooter and characters do have abilities, that's really about where the similarity ends in terms of gameplay. So just want to let you guys know that, so we'll go in there with that right out there. Okay, so then what is Lawbreakers? Lawbreakers is, in my opinion, more of a game that harkens back to the days of Quake and Unreal Tournament. That's what it feels like a lot more to me. It's a very fast-paced game. The time to kill is definitely quicker than Overwatch. You know, people will blow up in little bloody chunks. And the game modes are definitely more arena style. I guess that's what I would say. This game is more of an arena style game. Not saying it's an arena shooter, because I know some people will jump out of the woodworks and be like, it can't be an arena shooter because of... No, it is an arena style game, though, I would definitely say. The 3 game modes that were in the beta were Overcharge, Blitzball, and Turf War. Now I'll go over these very quickly just to kind of give you an idea what they're like. Overcharge is an interesting mode. It's kind of like a reverse assault mode. Basically, a battery will spawn in the middle of the map, and your team wants to grab the battery, bring it back to your base, and allow it to charge up to 100%. Once that happens, there's like a 15-second time period where it's being captured, and once that 15 seconds takes down, you get 1 point for scoring the battery. First team to get 3 scores wins. And it's a very interesting game mode because if you grab it and charge it, the charge remains for your side. So say you get up to 50% and the enemy team steals it and they start charging it, they start at 0, but if they get it up to say like 70, you steal it back, you start from 50. So it's a very interesting tug of war, and you can grab battery at 100% charged and bring it back and prevent the enemy team from scoring, and it's pretty hectic. Definitely very hectic and very hard to grab the battery if you have a team that's very smart and covers all the bases. The other game mode is called Blitzball. Now, of course, me being a Final Fantasy fan, saying the name Blitzball for a game mode was like, how dare you do this? But actually, it's kind of funny because with the maps in this game, the way it works, I kind of understand why they put a game with that name in there. And it's kind of the opposite of the one I just talked about, Overcharge. Basically, a ball will spawn in the middle of the map. Your team wants to grab the ball and just score it in your opponent's goal. First team to score 8 goals wins. So, pretty simple. And the reason I mentioned the Final Fantasy Blitzball is because if you played Final Fantasy X, you'll know that Blitzball is played in this big, like almost like watery sphere, and you have to have a ball that's in the middle and score your opponent's goal. And with all these maps having the big anti-gravity zone, which I'll get to a little later, it kind of gives that feeling of you like floating around with the ball. I don't know. It just seemed to make sense. I doubt it's any kind of homage to that, but I just kind of thought it was kind of neat when I was playing. Maybe just the Final Fantasy fan of me taking over, I guess. And the last mode that I wanted to talk about is Turf War. Now, Turf War is a kind of unique domination-style game type. Basically, there are 3 points on the map. And once a team has controlled all 3 points on the map, an intermission goes. The points get locked, and teams get points for how many bases they've capped. The idea of the game type is to cap a total of 16 bases first. So teamwork and map control are key in this game type. Now, the gameplay of Lawbreakers, like I said before, definitely harkens back to more like an Unreal Tournament feel. This is very fast-paced, in-your-face, and very skill-based. You know, there are classes in this game, but they don't really hold weight like they do in other games like Overwatch. You know, a class is basically a certain amount of moves and a weapon that you like, and that really determines what you play. No class really hard counters the other class. It's all based down to your skill as a player, your aim, and how you're able to use the classes. So, you know, I can't say, oh, that guy's an assassin, let me pick something else to counter him. No, doesn't work like that. All in all, I found these classes all very unique, very different, and, you know, some fit my playstyles, others didn't. The ones that I really liked were the more mobile classes, the assassin, the wraith, and the gunslinger. And I really gotta say, these classes were a absolute blast. None of the other classes really clicked with me that much, but definitely gotta say that the gunslinger class was my absolute favorite, and that's the gameplay you're watching in the background right now. One thing I also wanted to point out very quickly is that unlike other games, this game's ultimate abilities really aren't that overpowered. Some of them are definitely more useful than others. Some of them actually don't even really have that much of a cooldown like the other ones do. One character's is just a increased defense that you can use on a pretty quick cooldown and that you basically spawn with, while others basically have a timer that counts down regardless of how you're doing that will give you a ultimate at a certain interval. So, you know, if you know a certain class, you can kind of guess when other people on the other team of that class will have their first ultimate. And like I said, they're not necessarily the game-breaking ultimates of other games. They are sometimes more powerful, but not game-changing, which is a very nice change. Overall, I really have to say that the map design in this game is very interesting. It's very close quarters, and the maps that we saw so far all had one interesting feature, and that is the anti-gravity zones. Now, Lawbreakers' main kind of catchphrase is gravity-defying combat, and it definitely makes sense when you play the game. These anti-gravity zones definitely change up the combat a lot, especially depending on the character that you're playing. Certain characters, like the gunslinger that I was playing as, are great in the anti-gravity zones. Due to the warps I have and the hit scan guns, they can absolutely dominate in these anti-gravity areas. And they're just so fun to zip around, and people have a hard time hitting you. It's just a blast. They also add for really interesting ways to traverse the map. Like the assassin on certain anti-gravity stages can like actually, you know, sling around the outside of maps and catch people unaware. It's just really, really fun. So I definitely like this little thing they add to the maps. They definitely do it in very interesting ways. The map design, so far, in my opinion, has been pretty good. And you know, I can't wait to see what they have to offer in the full game when it releases. Just getting into some of the other smaller things in the beta we got to see. You know, there are loot box style things called stash drops, which are hilariously boxes with mustaches on them. You know, for the little icon that when you don't have any, kind of shows that, and it's funny. And it's your basic loot box system. It seems like credits are given to you at a pretty good case, so you know, if you don't unlock the thing you want, you will get the credits that you want to pretty reliably. And it's the same thing as other games. If you get duplicates, you get a reward of credits. But they all seem to be a pretty, you know, fair amount of credits for getting a duplicate. Also, I wanted to kind of just throw a shout out there to their options menu, because there's a lot of options you could do. And some people might like this, that there's a field of view slider even on the PS4 version, so you can enlarge your field of view if you wanted to. There's a whole bunch of other things like I think it was like the dead zone of the sticks. A lot of things you could tweak, so you could tweak your aiming controls how you want. There's a very good profile area that gives you stats, gives you your match history, and even kind of gives you little in-game achievements to go for, so that was pretty neat to see. All in all, though, I have to say, I really did enjoy this beta, and kind of justified me picking up this game. And honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't. If you're even the least bit interested and couldn't get to play this game, it is retailing for only $30. Now keep in mind, this is a multiplayer only game, but doing that at $30 is kind of a big risk on their part, and gotta give them credit. It's pretty ballsy, but I do appreciate the idea of, hey, it's only half of what a normal game is, so we're going to charge you half. Now, getting to the point I said in the beginning and why this isn't on Xbox, but we might see it. I know Cliffy B's been getting a lot of hate from Xbox fans as to why this game's not out on the Xbox when, he built his career on Xbox, which isn't necessarily true. But, Gears of War was a big hit. Before that, he worked on Unreal, which was on Xbox too, but also on PC. So, when he came out of retirement and started the studio, he has a very small studio. I believe it's just slightly over 150 people, maybe not even that much. But it's a very small studio, and when he created the studio, he had to look at the gaming climate at the time. And he knew he wanted to go on PC, but when it came to the consoles, at the time, the PS4 had the better install base. So when it came down to it, he only had the manpower to make the PC and for a console that he would sell. And PS4 had the better install base. For someone who's coming out with a brand new small company, he had to do what was best for his company and the people who work for him that he thought would sell better. So they went for the PlayStation. Now, he said that it's not a real possibility for an Xbox One version recreated, and he's very happy to see all the interest from Xbox fans for this game. So, while it might launch on August 8th on just PC and PS4, if the game is successful, who knows, maybe we will see an Xbox version somewhere down the line. Overall, I have to give this beta a glowing review. I absolutely enjoyed the gameplay of this game. I liked the classes, it was fun, it was a little bit different, and it was good to play kind of a fast-paced arena-style game again. So, overall, I would highly recommend trying this game if, it's still up when this video comes out. I'm not sure if it will be. Download it and give it a try if you can. If not, if you have a PS4 and you're looking for a new shooter to play, for $30, you definitely can't go wrong with this game. Alright guys, if you played the beta at all and want to leave some comments down below about how you felt about it, I'd love to read it. Or if you have any questions about the game that I didn't maybe cover, feel free to ask and I'll answer them the best I can. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching.